All right. Thank you very much for coming to this conference. This is almost the end of the conference. Now, before I pass it to Dominik to announce the Best Paper Awards, I wish to borrow you a few minutes to thank a few people that you have seen around in the conference for a long time for these several days. They are our very brave student helpers. They have done a lot to make sure that everything in the conference is working properly, and they have spent their own personal time going overtime as well to help supporting this conference. Everything that you see in the conference, somebody have to do them. This thing don't just normally appear in a room. That thing doesn't work by itself. So all of them are done by our student helper. So I wish to give them a little bit of a thank you and give them a little bit of a little certificate that I signed to officially thank them for their support. So if I say your name, please kind of come over and get the cert. So the first one is Ruchen. Ruchen, are you here? Okay. Okay, thank you. So Ruchen is the one who print everything. So if you have your beer ticket, this is from him. So and also if you have anything that is from a printout, is from him. Next one is Chris. All right. So Chris is the one who prepare and prints the pocket guides. We call that the survival guides because we're just so worried that people will get lost and they cannot survive in a town and they don't get used to the culture of the UK and so on. So he prepared everything, just make sure people will survive here. And seeing you are all alive, I think he has done a good job. So the next one is Pancho. Right, thank you. So Tancho is the one who do all the banners, and including that one that you see over there. Printing the banner is a pain. Next one is Xiaotang. So Xiaotang is the one who managed the video recording, and he will be later on editing the video. And if there's no technical issues, we'll try to put it online and spread the knowledge. Now, not the last one. The next one is Sima. She's not here today, but I just wish to mention that Sima is doing such a good job to point out all the mistakes. I mean, she's super careful and also super brave. I mean, when I make a mistake, not all of my students are there to point me out. Hubert, you're stupid. You make stupid mistake. She is the one who point me out, and she's always right. I know that I can rely on her. So I'll give the certificate to her tomorrow. Now I wish to especially thank two student helpers. The first one is Moderna. I think you probably have seen her because surprisingly, she is attending almost all of the sessions. Just make sure the technical thing is right, everything is right. So thank you very much, Ms. Turner. You've done such a good job. And the next one is the guy who is taking photos over there, Satang. Satang. Now, originally, Satang's job is supposed to be simple. It's just like make a phone call to the castle, pay them, and everything should be fine. Surprisingly, this is the most difficult job that we have ever seen in the whole conference. People don't reply us email. He has to physically go down there, not once, not twice. I think he go down there 4 times just to make sure the booking is correct. And we are so worried about that. And everything is fine. So do you enjoy the trip, the tour to the castle? Is the bus okay? Yep. Yes. So then I think he deserves more than a shirt. I brought him a bear. Thank you. Yeah. All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, I'll pass it to Dominik to give you the most exciting term, the best paper awards.
Many thanks, Hubert. Also from my end, thanks to all of our student volunteers. So you did an amazing job. Now let's come to an end and let's also celebrate the best paper and best presentation awards. So as you know, out of 78 submissions, we selected 30 papers. So now the question is, how many awards do we want to assign to the most excellent papers? And it should be usually not more than 10%. So we decided to actually give away 3 different awards with respect to the papers. So one is the best paper award, which can be considered as, let's say, the gold medal. And then we have 2 so-called SCA honorable mentions, which are actually, can be considered, let's say, it's 2 additional silver medals. Yeah, so 10% of the papers will be awarded. And then in addition, we have 1 best presentation award. And best presentation in this context basically means the presentation at the conference or online. So there's basically no difference with respect to online or offline on-site presentation. And maybe I should also talk a little bit about how we decided who will actually get the awards to make it as transparent as possible. Because awards, as we all know, this is often let's say a very subjective thing, right? So, and we try to make it as, let's say, objective as possible. Needless to say, every method to select these best papers in the best presentation has advantages and disadvantages. So fortunately, we have been in a situation that the 2 conference and the 2 program chairs had no submission at SCA, or no, let's say, accepted submissions at SCA. And because of that, we already had a small, let's say, group of 4 people who can make decisions. However, we are all conflicted as we know the names of the people, right? And friends of us, co-authors, other contributors are maybe authors on these papers, which we really like. So I basically identified a couple of people participating online or offline for the best paper awards and honorable mentions, who are not biased in the sense that they have an own paper where they are co-author at this conference. And we also basically try our best to actually select people who have a different background with respect to their specific expertise. Yeah, so not just, let's say, motion people or fluid people or whatever, right? So, and I think we actually came up with really excellent decisions in the end. But of course, also all the other 27 papers at SCA and also the TVCG papers, which have been presented, of course, they are also really, really nice contributions to this academic community. Okay, Jonathan, who's in our program committee, also currently with me, basically also try to print the awards and take care of this. I will basically just read it. And if someone is here, it does not necessarily have to be the first author, then he or she would be nice if you show up, and then I can also give it in person. Otherwise, we will just mail a digital version of this award to all the authors. Okay, so let's start with the best paper honorable mention. It has been decided that this one is going to the paper which has the title Generating Upper Body Motion for Real-Time Characters Making Their Way Through Dynamic Environments. And the paper has been written by Eduardo Alvarado, I hope I pronounce your name more or less correctly, Damien, Rohmer, and Marie-Paule, Cani. And this is coming out of it's called Polytechnique, right? So LI lab from all in front of the project. Okay, so now let's talk about the second honorable mention, which is going to the authors of the paper with the title Wassersplines for Neural Vector Field Controlled Animation. And this paper has been written by Paul Zhang, Dmitriy Smirnov, and Justin Solomon, and it's coming out of MIT. Is someone of the authors present here? Not the case. Okay, so in this case, we will actually mail it over to Justin, and then he will be more than happy to share this with his students. Great. So this was the second best paper honorable mention. Before we are coming to the best paper award, let's talk about the best presentation award. So the best presentation award, the criteria has been almost similar to the criteria for the best paper awards and honorable mentions, but of course, in this case, we actually make sure that the people who decide on this also have seen most of the presentations, right? So I mean, this is, let's say, a critical asset in this regard. And this is going to the paper with the title PERGAMO, Personalized 3D Garments from Monocular Video. And the authors are Andrés, Casado, Elvira, Marc, Comino, Trinidad, and Zhang, Casas. Great work. Okay, and finally, our best paper award of SCA 2022 for the paper with the title Surface Only Dynamic Deformables Using a Boundary Element Method, which has been written by Ryusuke Sugimoto, Christopher Batty, and Toshiya Hachisuka. Yeah, congratulations. Okay, so then also from my end, thanks again to all the contributors, everyone who helped making this conference a success. And yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the 3 days. Of course, there was a lot of work also, let's say, behind the scenes. So I haven't been able to participate in all the talks, but anyhow, it was great also to get to know a few new faces. I mean, academic community like the SCA community, right? So it's not a monolithic structure or block or something like this, but it's really, let's say, a set of all these individuals, and it's nice to basically get to know new faces. I enjoyed it very much. Also, if you have any valuable feedback with respect to the program, with respect to the review process, for example, what I have discussed with some of you is actually the concept of having this 2-cycle review policy, right? So because some people, they spend a huge effort in order, let's say, to address all points. In some cases, it has been done more or less a little bit more sloppy. I mean, this is something we have to work on, let's say, for the upcoming years. Yeah, needless to say, in the next years, I will not be responsible together with Sören anymore for the program, but we will have new program chairs for the conference. And of course, we will brief them in detail and also provide them the feedback from the community. So if you have additional feedback, then also please feel free to reach out after the conference by email or whatever you like. Okay, I think that's the end of the official academic program. Thank you very much.
So, do you like the conference? Yes. Yes? Is it a solid yes?
Yes.
No, I can't hear. All right, good. When I first signed up to do a conference, all the people around me tell me one thing, which is like, Hubert, don't do it. Conference doesn't work anymore after COVID. They told me like, if it's full online, everybody falls asleep behind the screen. They turn off their video, they are on their bed, they are not listening. If it's full on site, nobody will sign up. If it's hybrid, it doesn't work. Your computer will shut down. So they tell me, don't do it. This is bad. We proved that this is wrong. We can still do conference, and conference is still enjoyable. When I see that you guys are mingling with each other, challenging each other on your knowledge and say, no, you're wrong, my theory is better, I know that conference is good. When I see that you guys are exchanging contacts, like, I don't know what kind of messages you use, I saw PhD exchanging a contacts, I know that this is what conference is. it is working and is still enjoyable. And we saw that we have 100 people attending this conference with the majority on site. This is working and this is a good conference. People also say that after pandemic, it's difficult for specialist conference to like SCA, which is a specialist conference in computer animation, to survive in the field. They told me like, Hubert, you have no papers. People don't care about this kind of specialist conference anymore, and you struggle. Again, we prove it wrong. We have the most number of paper submission in the past 10 years of SCA, and we have also accepted the most number of non-paper in the past 10 years. So this is actually the best years of SCA after pandemic as well. So despite the challenge, we did it. And we also have keynotes. The keynotes are all happy to travel here. They talk with us, not just during the keynote speech, but also during the breaks and also during the banquet, the reception. We learned so much from them. And this is what a conference is supposed to be: the development of new knowledge, the sharing of knowledge, and the learning of knowledge. So if you did any of this, I know that this conference is a success. Now, it's a lot of stress doing a conference. You can see that my eye base is getting better, bigger and bigger in the past few days. It's a lot of time spent from all the chairs. It's a lot of effort, a lot of sweat, and even a little bit of tears. But I know it's worth it. I know it's worth it. When I see everybody here enjoying the conference, I know it is worth it. And on behalf of the team, thank you very much for coming to the conference. I hope I can see you in the future of SCA. Thank you very much. Now there will be beers outside, so enjoy yourself. Don't get too drunk.